Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Comic Shop Talk on the Late Night Chat Network, your first stop for pop culture talk. I'm your host, Niko, and joining me today, as always, my co-host, Chris. How's it going?
Hey, not too bad. How are you?
I'm good. Ready to talk about another week of comics here. This is episode 217, and this is our weekly comic book review show where we discuss what we read every week. And, sometimes we talk about things going on in the world of comics, give you our reviews on the books we read, look over some comic book art. And today we're going to be talking about the new comics that came out for the week of February 11th, 2026. And as always, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. You can check out this show weekly. You can check out some of the other stuff that we drop here on the Late Night Chat Network. Over 1,000 videos worth of playlists here you guys can check out. If you guys are fans of Game of Thrones, I do want to mention we only have a couple weeks left in our live episodes that we've been doing for the new spin-off show, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. The 5th episode just came out this past week out of 6. Next week's the last one. And we've been recording those live, which is, it's been a while since we've done live episodes here on the Late Night Chat Network. So I think that'll be, by the time this episode comes out, I think I'm recording Tuesday night, episode 5 live at about like 9:15 p.m. And then the following week, it'll be kind of probably the same thing. So if you guys have been watching that show, make sure to check that out. We kind of do like a full breakdown of episode by episode. And then we won't be back until the summer, Chris, because that's when House of the Dragon comes back with all these delays. Hopefully, unless something happens. I don't know. But it's been fun. It's been a good show, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. It's been really good. It's nice to see a different type of Game of Thrones show in the same universe, right? So this takes place between those two shows, I think, in terms of the timeline. As always, spoiler warning as well, guys. If you're worried about getting spoiled, we are going to be getting into what happens in the books here to properly review them. So, you can always read your books and come back. Check out our playlist. Like, here we are, 217 episodes of Comic Shop Talk, plus other stuff. We've done a few other things, our annual award shows that we do here where we go over our favorite comics of the year. I think, Chris, we did a trade talk years ago where we talked about The Walking Dead, the first 2 volumes of that which was a lot of fun. So, yeah, make sure to go check that out. All right, Chris.
All right. No TV, no movies, all comics.
That's right. Cheers. You're like, enough about plugging your other shows, Nick. All right.
What are we starting out with?
Wade Wilson, Deadpool #1, first up on the docket here. New releases.
I think this one was okay. I thought the art was decent. I think we get more of a classic Deadpool. Who's writing this? Benjamin Percy?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, there's like 3 of them. I think some of the jokes fall flat. I didn't find this like super funny. I know they're trying to make them, a bit of the Merc with the mouth type here, but some of the dialogue just kind of fell flat into the jokes. But I don't know what this thing with the cow was, though. How did he get in there?
Well,
turned around like. Rrr.
I was about to say, our theory about Benjamin Percy and him taking ideas from movies.
I got this Pet Detective here.
Yeah. I think he watched When Nature Calls recently, and he's like, hey, this is a great idea. I'll have him coming out of the cow.
I'm going to see what movies are on TBS or something.
I enjoyed this. Honestly, I think like Benjamin Percy, despite the fact that he's writing like half of Marvel's output at this point, like we've discussed here on the show, suddenly, slowly but steadily, he seems to be like doing half their books. He definitely has like cut out a corner for himself in terms of the characters I think he's good at writing and like the types of books he does. So this again, when I heard this was written by him, I was like, okay, yeah, this seems like this is going to be in his wheelhouse. I agree with you. Some of the jokes didn't hit. I think that's just the nature of this character at this point, though. And for a while there, I really had gotten sick of reading Deadpool in comics because of that reason. Everyone was doing that version of them. And, and then with the movies out with the Ryan Reynolds of it all, that version. So for a while there, we were getting a lot of Deadpool. It's been a while since I've read, I think I just read him in that Wolverine Deadpool that Benjamin Percy also wrote, right? Which was definitely different in tone. This was still pretty good, though, I will say. I like the
story. It's just that the dialogue isn't the greatest, but it's not terrible, I'll say that much.
I agree. The art, like you said, is good. Jeff Shaw, who I think he just came off the Red Hulk book with Benjamin Percy that I read and talked about here on the show, which I enjoyed. And then I like the idea that it seems like he's kind of just addicted to like killing himself in this. Like they kind of really hasn't. That's what I got out of this. Like it seems he just kind of doesn't give a shit and he's open to like hurting himself as much as possible in these scenarios. And he clearly is like, I don't know if he's like having some like I don't know if he's like depressed or he just like, yeah, he's just kind of done with life. It seems like at this point. So like I'm thinking that's probably what he's going to tap into for the story here a little bit, but there was also some good moments though. I thought too. I thought when she gave him the coffee and he just smashed himself with the pot of coffee. I'm just like, okay, yeah. And he's like talking to Hammerhead. He's like, all right.
Yeah, I like the stuff with Hammerhead, and Hammerhead's just like shaking his head. He's like, what the heck are you doing, man?
I'm out of here, you freak. And then like he literally takes they take the money back because he's like, hey, want to like just kill me quick or whatever. Like that's what I mean. I think like he's clearly in like a bad place right now, Deadpool. Like he never has been in a good place mentally, but right now I think we're kind of checking in on a time where he's really not good, it seems like right now. So I'm interested to maybe further explore that, but like he's still crazy. And yeah, I agree with the jokes. The jokes definitely didn't hit a lot of them, but you know, if the story's interesting though, I think I'll give it another issue at least for sure. Yeah. I read this digitally.
Yeah, I don't think it's a must-read Deadpool stuff, but it's entertaining enough.
What'd you give this?
I'd give it a 3.5.
I might go 3.75 for some of the story stuff I was talking about, but yeah, if you want to minus points for some of the not funny moments, I could kind of get where you're at with the 3.5 as well, actually. Yeah. So yeah, it's around there. 3.65 for me. All right. Cyclops #1. Continuing with the mutant #1 books here. What do you got here with this one?
I think this is better than our offerings from last week. You know, when we got Cyclops here, I kind of like the stuff in the beginning when he was with the X-Men doing stuff. And, you know, I guess he's given some grief to Magic and whoever else because they kind of went ahead. But then anyways, I don't know, for whatever reason, he decides to take off and go further north or I don't know where he's going, but he does get shot down. And as he's falling, his visor breaks. And so he's sort of, I kind of like that position they put him in. And he's fighting some Reavers. I don't know who named these Reavers. Those are the worst names I've seen out there. But once again, I think this has been better than the offerings from last week. And, you know, it's once again, I don't know if this is high praise for this, but it's not terrible. I'll give it that much so far.
Yeah, it may have been better than last week's. What was last week? Storm and Magic and Colossus. Yeah, well, I don't know. I thought this was just fine though, personally. Here's the thing about these miniseries though. I'm kind of getting annoyed at a little bit though. A lot of them are really, it feels like the target audience for a lot of these miniseries are like the hardcore fans because they're referencing things in this where I'm like, I haven't read every single X-Men comic. So like they're referencing things about his past and stuff like that. And like certain character traits with Cyclops where maybe I'm not connecting with it on a level I feel like I could. But, you know, the story they're telling here so far is fine. You know, again, I thought the art was fine. And like you said, this may be better than most. But for me, it was like even on this week, if I had to compare, I actually preferred the Deadpool comic to this one just because it is more of the same, that one. But I don't know. I'm not totally invested in this story by the end of this. I might also just give this another issue, though. But yeah, and I'm also I guess not the biggest Cyclops guy either, though. So I know.
Yeah, when I heard this coming out, I was originally going to put this on my pull list, but
yeah, I remember. Yeah.
But you know, I'm not upset I didn't. Let's say
that's fair. What'd you give this?
I'll give it a 3.5 as well.
That's where I'm going with it. 3.5. Yeah. Next up, we got continuing the #1s here this week. Sirens, Love Hurts #1. I got the just the A cover, the Babs Tar one here.
Yeah, I got a Sozumaki cover.
Okay, I think I saw that one. Yeah, it's a nice one too. I like that one. Yeah.
I'd like to say I was pleasantly surprised by the art. I was worried this was going to be a bit like the Harley Quinn sort of art that's been going on there, and I haven't really been enjoying that. But this has some sort of style to it. There's a bit of a cheesecakiness to it that's well appreciated.
Yeah.
The story started out fine, like all the girls there kind of hanging out together, and they're trying to get Black Canary. And then it just started to drag on too much, like with all the girl talk and the gossip between them. And I did enjoy kind of that story where Black Canary is not sort of really welcomed by the group, but but they all kind of still go their own way, and they kind of leave Black Canary to hang out and dry. And then the next mission they get up to, once again they kind of hang out. They hang Black Canary out to dry, but now I guess they're sort of both trying to solve the same crime. I think a dead waitress shows up, and they kind of, while they're robbing one of the clubs that Black Canary's working at as a singer or something. So it wasn't. I feel like I'm like a repeating record here. It was okay. Okay, I'll say what, like, I don't. Maybe I shouldn't use the term. It's not terrible as a compliment to it, but it was okay. Maybe if the action ramps up, then I might be enjoying this a bit more.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you said. I feel like I gave this a lot of hype too when we had looked at solicits and you weren't sure about it because I had said Babs Tarr was drawing it and I really like her art. And for that reason, like you said, it's got a bit of cheesecakiness to it. She's got a stylistic. And she definitely has cartoony moments, or even like some of the chibi kind of art comes out at certain points. It seems like with some of like the reactions of the character, possibly like a manga anime kind of influence there as well at times, I feel like, in some of her art. But I like it a lot though, and she doesn't really draw interiors like that often. So I was really excited for this book based off of that, like just the art on this one. I will say this was better, I think, than the last offerings we've been getting out of these Sirens books.
Sure.
Yes. So like for me, I agree with what you're saying about the story a bit, but I'm gonna just continue with this for the art. I'm in for the mini series on this one because I really dig the art, and I like the tone of it, despite over the past mini series that we've gotten so far. So at least this one is trying to do something in terms of like you said, there was a lot of just like girl talk, gossipy type moments, and like they're not actually fully together as this team yet. But I really appreciated that it actually seems to know what it wants to be, and I'll go for that over like what we've gotten out of these other mini series that they've given us, right? Teenie Howard, the writer of this, not a huge fan of Teenie Howard's writing, but again, I'm here for the art on this one. And I didn't mind this so far, so there you go. What'd you give this?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give us another 3.5.
I'll go 3.75 on this for the art. Great Black Canary, great Harley too. I really like the way she drew some of these characters in this. Next up, we got the conclusion of Alien versus Captain America #4.
I think somehow I didn't pull it. Get some I pull this, but every time it came out, there's a copy kicking around. They have been nice covers, and I have been enjoying the series. And here, I guess we have the final battle. I think they're storming the beach. After the fall of history, they're on D-Day.
Yeah. And,
it just seems like a normal battle there. With all the Germans there just on the beach, ready to pick everybody off. And then it just starts raining down the xenomorphs. And you think that's crazy enough, but then of course the Kree come by with their team, and they're just just dropping lasers from the sky. But they're still kind of getting their asses whooped. I did like when the invaders showed up. That was kind of just out of the blue. Although I didn't think they doesn't look like they tipped the scales too much. And and then there's some timely deaths. They have that Nick Fury and the Kree, I guess Captain, I forget, Yongmar or whatever his name was. They always sort of had a kind of a respectful beef with one another, and that Nick Fury kind of sacrifices himself to save the Kree soldier. And then inside the cave, we have Captain America Bucky and Captain Marvel trying to go after the Queen or the Red King. some good action in there. And I think what was the plan? I think the Supreme Intelligence had something that if they could get it on the Red King or the Queen, it would kill all the xenomorphs. And I went. So of course, that came at a cost, and Captain Marvel sort of gets wiped out. So there's some big things happening. Even though this is sort of in its own else world. So I thought that had some impact. And of course, the ending, it was like a Twilight Zone ending. He kind of goes to present day, and then you have Bucky kind of sitting there. He goes, "Oh, I still don't know what happened to Captain Marvel after this war. We just never seen him again." And then Vision shows up there. Something goes, "I'll be able to find him." And they track him down, in the ice. You think, okay, he's just gonna, it's just the normal sort of ending. And you go, "Oh, de-thaw," and they go, "Oh, what's behind the shield?" And hey, you got the face hugger coming out. So maybe the world isn't as safe as it thinks right now. So I thought that was a great ending.
I did half expect that at the end, I will say, but it absolutely was great and definitely fits the Alien film. So I wasn't mad at it, but I definitely saw it. I feel like coming. This was great. Solid miniseries. I'm picking up the trade because I didn't pick this up in issues. I like that it didn't it's its own thing outside of like the other one that was great that Hickman did, which was like straight up like a sci-fi story. This was more like a World War II story. So like great art, good characters showed up that are like from this period of comics of these characters. Like the Invaders showed up in this issue. You had Nick Fury. They even tied in some of the space characters with the Captain Marvel thing. I love this. I think for what this was great. It definitely represented both the Marvel Universe and the Alien stuff. Great. No complaints from me. I honestly, I thought this was, this was fantastic. And it really, again, I did not expect this to be this good, and I didn't pre-order it, but I'm definitely going to be picking up the trade because, this is everything kind of I was looking forward to for in this comic was kind of present, honestly. Like between this and like the Hellhunter stuff, that miniseries and stuff too, they've been putting out some fun like World War II kind of Marvel comics too lately, like ones that are like have the mixture of the Marvel Universe stuff going on, but are also kind of like war comics as well in that sense. I like how that one had like, the old school Ghost Riders and all this other crazy shit going on in it. And then this one had aliens. So like, I like this stuff. It's very good. So what'd you give this?
I'll give this 3.75, but as the series as a whole, I'd give a 4.
I'd probably go 4 for this and the series. I really liked it. It was good. Next up, we got DCKO number 4. I mean, honestly, got the DWJ cover here. This is cover of the year so far. This one right here. Having Batman as a lucha wrestler with the chair here, the barbed wire on it. You didn't get it?
I think I had it on my pull list, but for whatever reason didn't come out. But I'm not upset. I've been liking these DCKO covers, and this is the one with all the absolute heroes there.
That's fair.
You can't go wrong with that. So I wasn't too upset when that one came out. And this is I thought this was going to be a 5-issue series. I was expecting more at the end of this, but then I come to understand that this is it. This is the end.
No, this is 5 issues, is it not?
Oh, okay. I was hoping it's 5 issues.
No, it is. It's 5.
Okay, good. I thought this was just it because when I started reading stuff about this. Anyway, spoiler alert! Freaking what's his name? Lex Luthor wins. But anyways, we'll talk about how we get there. One thing I was concerned about is how they sort of punked out the absolute heroes, just having kind of their coming as brainwashed characters. And I was like, ooh, this is a bit of a tough call for them. Maybe when this came out, they didn't realize or when they were writing this, how popular this absolute universe was going to be.
Well, hold on. I would argue, and I'm glad you brought this up because I had the same thought. I would argue, though, that what happened here was, thank God they kind of did that whole this whole thing about them being brainwashed, because it really wasn't them in their true form, where you could say that they got their asses handed to them in this way, right? That's what I thought was the interesting part about it, because it was technically Darkseid just using them as vessels, right? So in a way, they didn't get like beat like this because it wasn't them, right? I thought that was like it kind of gave them a pass, but you think it actually looked bad that they used them in that.
Interesting. If, these guys they're your number one bread makers right now. Like, that absolute Batman is, he's probably holding up freaking DC's sales right now, along with Wonder Woman and the Absolute Universe. So, like I say, maybe when this was all written, this wasn't going to be such a widespread, maybe they didn't know like freaking Absolute Batman's going viral or something. But otherwise, I'm never a big fan of the trope when two heroes are fighting each other and one of them's blackmailed and they knock some sense into him and then, they all sort of wake up and, okay, we're ready to fight Darkseid. And then basically Darkseid just freaking eye beams everybody and everybody gets wiped out and Superman sort of absorbs the eye beams before it gets to, Lex Luthor's basically behind him. So, by the time I guess Darkseid is sort of done or Superman thinks Darkseid is done, he thinks he's going to win. Then Lex Luthor, of course, being what he does, he takes the opportunity to strike, and he basically gets rid of Superman, and he's won the King Omega. So I thought that was the end of this series, and and then wherever else this goes from here will take off in the other series. But I hope there's one more issue to see where things go.
Yeah, I think there is, unless I'm wrong. I'll have to look it up though when you're talking about maybe your next book, because I believe that there is. I didn't feel this was the ending at the end, and it even shows that Lex Luthor is still like the last one to kind of represent them against Darkseid, right? Like that's like kind of where they left it. I was a little confused at first about this whole thing, and then when it was revealed that it was Darkseid using the absolute heroes, I was less bothered by that. I know what you're saying, but I saw it as like a cop-out, still a cop-out, but in a way where I'm like, it didn't make them look bad because it was Darkseid who was utilizing them and not like, this wasn't the true absolute heroes that like we know. Like this is just some shit version of them essentially, right? So in that sense, I was like, okay, but you're right. Maybe it's bad because it makes them look shit, like even though it's not them, right? But like it's him just using their bodies. But this was still fun. I mean, I've dug this miniseries, but I've really enjoyed it the whole way through. Yeah, I really don't have much to add other than what you said, though. I mean, I think this was. I hope there's one more issue, and I think as like a fun kind of tournament based comic that this has been successful. Whenever people have asked me about how this has been, I've just said it's been fun. So like that's kind of where I think that's I'd rather that in an event than them being like, oh, this is going to change everything. And even though, I'm sure they said that about this one too, but
that's what I'm worried about now is the fun part's over. And now they're going to have to work on the story. And I'm sure that's not going to be quite as much fun, But this just better not be some dream that's going on while Clark is playing that stupid board game. If that turns into a major part of this story, oh man, that can really knock it off.
It's so funny you say that because I literally had the same thought during this issue. There was a moment where they cut to that during.
They keep on cutting back to it. It's like, come on, this can't be it.
And I thought, like, is that actually what's been going on? I had that same thought as you did. And then they had like a Lord of the Rings as epilogue where it was like a long, this whole scene here all happened after the end of the issue where you're like, let's see what was going on with these, like the Legion people and the people that were working for Darkseid and what was really going on with Darkseid. And like, so I thought that could have been addressed like differently too. I was like, why are we getting this like long,
Yeah, they could have saved this for like the Justice League comic or something. Just, have more action with the fight and end at the end of the fight if you want to find out what's going on. This was just the key. This sort of main run here should have been just the battles.
So look, see, even this last thing here, Chris, it doesn't show who's won here yet. So they must have one more issue. I actually even like the fact that Batman, we all knew Batman was going to come back. I wasn't mad at that either. I mean, I did think it was funny how he called the absolute Batman's bat symbol the stupidest bat symbol that he's seen. Yeah. And he's like, God, it's kind of growing on me after when he does take his name
or whatever.
That was funny, but yeah. What'd you give this?
Yeah, it's still a great comic though. I'd give this a 4, no problem.
Yeah, 4 out of 5 for me as well. All right, next up, you got Planet She-Hulk number 4.
Well, yeah, I just read this one. I've been kind of following this along. It really hasn't hit the spot for me. And here, I think the leader of the planet has brought Jack of Hearts out of nowhere to basically fight She-Hulk as like a trial of combat or something for the life of the farmer that she's trying to protect. That should be the rightful ruler of this world or something like that. And of course, this is another brainwashed Jack of Hearts. So, they don't really get into how he ended up like that. I think the guy just says, oh, I bought this out on the market. How that happened, who knows? But then She-Hulk realizes that Jack of Hearts has a hard time kind of controlling his powers. And that's when he was, well aware of what he's doing. And, it takes a lot of focus. So she feels that if she can kind of get him to overload somehow, he might snap him back into his true self or bring back his memory, of course, which it does. So, she kind of lands down back in this arena of combat. And so she thinks she's won. But then, the I guess the king there that's now says, well, while you're away, we decided he was guilty. And they chop off that guy's head. And one of, I guess, She-Hulk's friends was the executioner. So I thought that was a big turn at the end that I didn't see coming at all.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So I thought that kind of saved this issue. It might even, I don't know, maybe about saving the series, but it definitely was a turn I didn't see coming, and I appreciate it a lot. So I'd give this a 3.75 for that.
Of course, this is
decent still.
Of course, this is the issue that I jumped off of it. I'm like, that's enough of this. And then you tell me it's like arguably the best issue so far.
It's the best, the last page. It was like that was like a crazy turn. You don't see too many crazy turns all the time, but that was like, whoa, what happened there?
Oh yeah,
that guy's head on the ground, and her friend's the one, the executioner, and she's like, what the heck's going on? And oh well, we'll see what's going on. Who knows? Maybe the next issue. It's just going to be She-Hulk Unleashed.
Okay. Maybe I'll have to dip my toe back in then and read this one. All right. Next up, I got Bleeding Hearts number 1. This is the first out of the bunch of new Vertigo relaunch releases that they're doing of comics. I think they're going to bringing out like 4 or 5, 6 like series over the next few months or something like that. A bunch of different, I'm sure, mini series. I don't think they're gonna be long ongoing ones like Vertigo back in the day. I'm a huge fan of like Prime Vertigo era stuff. When I got back into comics, it was like a real big reason, that kind of kept me around, because like I didn't know that there was like comics written through the 90s other than superhero stuff that was more rated R, kind of like adult comics, like in this sense, like a lot, and all by all these great writers, and just like, yeah, more adult comics essentially. Like I didn't know that DC had this whole, like when I stepped away from comics in the 90s when I was younger, I didn't know the whole thing was going to start happening, right? So like it was there's a lot, so many great things. Hellblazer, so many of my favorite series come from the Vertigo brand. But this as the first book out, I know Denise Camp here, the writer of The Ultimates, Absolute Martian Manhunter, had a hell of a year, I guess, in comics. A lot of people really like this writer. This is not a good debut Vertigo book, in my opinion. I really didn't care for this one. I don't think he put his best foot forward with this one either. I mean, it may have the look and feel of Vertigo with it being weird, unique, kind of indie style art. Let's say artist name Stipan Morian. I will say I didn't like the art, first of all. Again, it's different and unique, but I didn't care for it all that much. And this is basically a zombie story. It's another weird, different type of take on a zombie story, which I've kind of like gotten, like, I'm tired of at this point. So I don't know. It was okay. Like, it's basically about a bunch of like this. It's from the perspective of the zombies. Something's going on with this guy's heart. I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know if he's turning human or it seems like he's like having feelings or second thoughts about what they do as zombies, like throughout the story. Like by the end of it, he's like, are we bad people for like eating these humans? So like, it's a weird angle, like for something, I guess maybe that's original, or maybe I haven't seen it from that perspective instead of them just being mindless zombies. But I feel like we've gotten so many like zombie kind of comics since like the success of The Walking Dead and different takes on things. I know Image just did one a little while ago this past year, actually, I think about zombies or like undead people or something like that as well. I forgot the title of it, but yeah, it was fine. But I didn't love it all that much. I think it didn't hook me. I'm not going to be continuing with it, and I didn't love the art. It's okay. I mean, now I'm flipping through it, it's not bad, but nothing really kind of kept me where I'm like, by the end of this, I'm like, I got to check out the next issue.
Yeah,
so,
no,
what's that?
No hook that hooked you in there.
It's really just that thing about at the end, like he comes across a human being, which he's talking about the whole time. You could tell he doesn't really have a taste. Like his buddy like brings him like a finger or something to eat that they got off of somebody, and he like doesn't want to eat it, seems like, but he does it just to appease him. And then like by the end of it, he's like, I don't know, like you think like we're, it's that we're bad about doing this, like that it's bad that we're, we have this urge to eat people or something like that. And he opens the door to wherever they just went into, and there's like a couple of people there. So it's just that now he's going to be faced with like, I guess, this dilemma if he's going to eat these people or he's going to, and this whole issue, something weird has been going on with his heart. It's been beating, it seems like. So I don't know. It wasn't enough for me to be like, okay, I'm all in on this. So I'm looking forward to some of the other releases from this Vertigo, but I didn't pre-order any of them because I'm like, you know what? These waiters are probably going to be better as trade waiters anyways, to read better in a trade. I'll try out all of the, at least the first issues digitally. This one didn't hook me for whatever reason. So your mileage may vary. I'll give it a 3 out of 5. I don't think I should give it less than that. It's not that it's bad. It's just wasn't interesting to me. And I didn't particularly love the art from my first exposure to it. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 15. You didn't read this one, you said, right?
No, I didn't see it out there.
Okay. So this has still been pretty good. I'm not upset by this post Jason Aaron run so far. I think it's had some interesting stuff going on in it. In this issue, the boys find out that that Shredder is that Yuzugami character. And then we find out that, well, it first opens up with some sort of a vision. It seems like in a future scenario where Raph comes out and he's got the eye patch on his eye and he's coming to like save what's his name there, Casey, and then he's fighting some people, and then it cuts to like Shredder saying like, okay, yeah, well, this future is ceased to exist now. I've taken care of that. Because this whole him as Yuzugami, we find out like they kind of really go into it in this issue. He's getting these visions of future scenarios where things are going to happen, and he's going around and tracking down these killers that are going to kill his sons, like the Ninja Turtles. So he's getting these visions from like his wife, like essentially like his dead wife that from the past, like when he was like a samurai, that's like in the afterlife. And he's thinking that this is the right thing to do to take out these people beforehand, before they actually do anything wrong, right? So they find all this out in this issue. Like he reveals himself to be this Yuzugami. And then also this witch character, I forget her name. She showed back up again. This one that's like transforming from the cat and all this. And she attacks them again. So you get some more scenes with her. And she ends up like attacking the turtles like in their like base essentially in this one. So that was interesting. And yeah, she like uses these hypno stones to control them. So like there's a magic character now just in the Ninja Turtles comic. This character, I don't know where she's coming from or what her deal is. I guess we'll find out more about her. But yeah, you also find out like there's another, I forget what the other one's called. It's not Yuzugami, but it's something else. That might be what the witch character is. There's another Shinigami. Yeah, it is Shinigami. It is the witch. So there's this Shinigami witch person who's like the opposite of the Yuzugami. So there's all these like weird, like I don't know, demon kind of afterlife people like battling each other now at this point. So the interesting part is like the fact that the turtles don't agree with their master. Like half of them are like, this is Shredder we're talking about, of course we're gonna like trust his judgment on this, and the other half of them are like, I don't know, like that seems messed up that he's going around killing people before they even like have done anything wrong, right? Just because of like these visions that he's getting. And then by the end of this issue, he gets another vision that because he changed the future by taking out that other person last issue that was going to kill Raph, that he has a vision that Casey Jones is going to kill Raphael in the future somehow. So he goes out after Casey Jones at the end of this issue. So I don't know. So yeah, they're going to have to make a choice here. Like they're either going to lose their father again and have to take him out because they don't agree with what the hell's going on there. And then he'll return back to the afterlife, or like they're just going to let their friends die. Like, I don't know. So this is like a little like a complicated situation here for them. I will say that the story's got me interested to see what happens next, but I'll give this a 3.75. I'm enjoying the art on it as well. I'm enjoying it. It's good. It's not bad. And then finally, Hank Howard, Pizza Detective, The Two Hollywoods, #2. This is the last issue of this little two-parter that they put out. In this one, he tracks down like the people that were behind this whole scam that was involved with his pizza restaurant in the first issue. He ends up going to like another state to fall after following these guys, and he finds out the guys that are behind it are like basically like an Outback Steakhouse type of operation. They're like all these Australian gangsters that work for like an Outback like a steakhouse or something.
Back to the front.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden this bad guy shows up that's like talking like with an Australian accent, and he's got like a fucking like stand-up kangaroo that has like boxing gloves. That's like one of his goons. It's just so ridiculous. I don't know, made me laugh. It was just real stupid. And like by the end of it, he gets his man, and then like the real cop offers him a job, like, you know, like so many of these cop movies. Hey, wouldn't you like to be like a part of the real FBI or real cops or whatever? And he's like, nah, I'm good. I got my pizza detective job. You know, just like he tips his cap, and like he's like, what? If you could do me a favor, get me my job back, because he lost his job last episode working for the pizza restaurant he works for. So it's just a ridiculous idea for a book, and but it is fun. The puns actually work in this one, unlike the Deadpool comic, and it's good black and white art, and it's just fun. I'll give this a 4 out of 5. I really don't have any complaints about this. Didn't overstay its welcome with the 2-issue thing, and it's just like a fun little story. All right, Chris, Babs Black Road South #2.
It's nothing bad to say about Babs. It's a fun story. They're running around doing whatever they do. They're on some quest down the South Block Road or something. And these are comics that are just hard to explain. They're just fun reads all around, and you know, and it's good action. It's crazy action. It's crazy banter, and you know, pick it up if you get a chance to see it. If you see it out there, or give it a read. It's worth it.
I love this series, man. It's so funny. It opened up with that whole like Lord of the Rings, like that basically just making fun of the Lord of the Rings, where Frodo and and Samwise, they're together on the top of the mountain, and he drops his pants thinking that, I don't know, he has a thing for him. And you know, that people have made fun of those two characters in that movie because it kind of seems like, you know, they're getting together, those two characters, or like they had something going on possibly. But like the fact that like you get that at the start about like the assumption of these characters and him dropping his pants, and like then all of a sudden she flies by on the dragon and she accidentally boots him into the volcano after they drop the ring. Like I thought that whole part was funny. And then like the story about the dragon, you know, all the shit that he's been through, and how like, you know, how he's blind now because of like the result of like, you know, being in all these like abusive situations where he ended up getting hurt and now he's like blind and old, and he has to like take naps. Like you said, it's a weird one to explain, but basically they're on the adventure now, like, and it seems like they're gonna have to go and oh yeah, and then they met up with that guy, that character from the first miniseries, Chris, the one that had to jerk off the ogre or whatever. Which again, it sounds weird to explain, but that happened in the first miniseries, and she meets back up with the guy here, and she hates this guy. She finds him very annoying, but she runs back into him, and of course, he's the one that's with the party that they're the ones that have like ran off with all of her money. So she now has to join this party in order to find these riches, essentially, to, so they get their money back. So that's kind of where they're at now in the story. Very funny and a lot of fun. It's good stuff. What'd you give this?
Yeah, that's 4, no problem.
4 out of 5. They're really making fun of Lord of the Rings in this one, though. Yeah. Like, you could see with all the elves and the fact that they're talking about the ring and like they
take the flimsiest story and make them turn it into gold. Where your other comics have great stories and they just can't make them work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. This is actually, and then again, like there's so many comics that just do like a jokey version of something and it's bad. This is not that. Like this is actually pretty well done, but they're definitely making fun of other things here, fantasy-based comics and movies and things like that. Yeah. Devil on My Shoulder, number 3.
That's one extreme to another here. This is another brutal comic, and like this is a bit more of a serious tone. We're following like the name they give the main character, dog shit. And all those people that abused her, they still don't give up on that. They're just, once they see her, they're just trying to kind of bring her right back to where she was before. And there's that story with that priest that was, I don't know, in some sort of mob before or something, and he's teaching her how to do all this stuff, but then he's got to answer to the other people in the church, and they're not pleased with what he's doing with this girl. And I think she's got one more person to take out, and of course that person just lives right back at the barn where all this stuff started. So, it's gonna be a humdinger coming up here, I think.
This was good. I like how she also worked her way into killing this other guy because she pretended to like one of his like bodyguards or something for a while. And she was like having this texting relationship with them and like worked her way in that way. The only complaint I have about this is like a lot of these like Kyle Stark's miniseries, this is only going to be 4 issues. So I'm like, this can't be like, I mean, it does seem like she only has like that one person. And what I'm thinking that they're hinting at, Chris, is this 5th person she keeps referring to maybe doesn't exist. Is it in her head? I don't know. Like, cause like the guy like laughs at her in this and he's just like, oh, 5th person. Yeah. Did you tell anybody else about this? Like, it seems like, I don't know if like, I don't know what the deal is there. Like they keep alluding to this other person that she's looking for. She's on her way to the 4th person. It looks like in this last issue, the next one. And I don't know if they can really get more out of this, like another mini series, but I just feel like a little disappointed that it's going to end. I think this is one of those cases where this actually could have used an issue. I felt like I'm like, that's the only thing where I've been enjoying it the whole way through and I don't want to have too much of it, but like, what do you think? Do you think this is going to be it next issue? That's it. That's the end of the story.
Who knows what they're up to? Like,
yeah,
there's another story that can, at the end, it can just turn into a whole other business, whatever's going on in this world. This sort of reminds me of those Girl with the Dragon Tattoo books or whatever.
Yeah.
You read the first book, you think it's how can this turn into something?
Yeah.
And then maybe she's going to get pulled into the story with the priest and the church or something. Like this is just her awakening. Let's say she's not even a full power yet.
That's a good point. Yeah, so maybe it could go places and a series of a couple of different 4-issue miniseries like Kyle Stark likes to do. You're right. I just feel like there's still a lot of meat on the bone here. Like, I don't want to keep reading it. If it ends with next issue, I just don't know, like, how he's going to wrap it up here. But good stuff, though. Yeah, I agree. Good issue. Good series. What'd you give this?
Yeah, 4, no problem again.
4 out of 5. Yep. Geiger 21.
Issue here.
Nice.
And this story is taking a bit of a turn from the regular Geiger verse, I guess. Geiger's usually just been kind of roaming around the wasteland and running into mutants and, survivors and power rulers and all that sort of thing. And now with this Northman that shows up, it's bringing in sort of an element of, I don't know if you want to call it fantasy or something, because he's being like time travel through through all these different, from a different dimension or a different, multiverse where the South and the South won the Civil War and everything was sort of separated, kind of interesting how they describe how that world sort of played out. Is that, since America was never united, when World War II happened, the Germany sided with the South and the States, and it kind of goes into all these little details there. I thought that was interesting, and this sort of the shadow group that seems to be helping the Northmen, and they're dropping that tank in there, and the tank's got sort of information about Geiger, and there's got a picture of his family, got boron rods, and there's a chair there with his name on it, and there's a couple other chairs with some names on it that you don't know what they're about. And the date there with August 36, I think that was crazy. And I think they referenced that maybe this tank isn't just a tank, it's a time machine. So I don't know if they've traveled through time, because they end up in a wacky spot near the end. I think they're on their way to Detroit, but then they run into some sort of town that seems to be run by some kids. And I guess they got the Geiger and Mr. North sort of in a tough spot right now. So it's another great comic. I have nothing bad to say about Geiger.
Yeah, this one asked a lot of questions that we haven't gotten the answer to yet, and I'm very interested and invested in this story, and I like this world. And I got to see what happens next. Where they kind of left us at the end of the issue, looks like there's another faction that they come across of kids, of children, I guess, in the wastelands that. He mistaken him they think he's a Nazi because of the tank that he's riding around in. And meanwhile, he was going to attack them thinking that they were the enemy. And then he realized they were kids. So that whole thing
he still ends up with a freaking gun in his head.
Yeah. So I don't know what this group is here that he's encountered here at the end, but I can't wait for the next issue now. They really left us in an interesting spot, I felt. So good stuff. What'd you give this?
Another 4. Good stuff.
Yeah. Transformers 29.
Got the A cover here.
Yeah, I got the DWJ. Yeah.
Big things happen in this issue. It looks like an unexpected sort of final battle, it seems. I think we ended up with Megatron sort of being like a vampire sucking the life out of one of the Autobots, and he just looks like enraged after. And then the Autobots show up, and one thing with these battles, I have no idea who's fighting who. It's hard to say, which Autobot or which Decepticon is battling, but I can kind of let that stuff slide. And I guess they have a bunch of the Decepticons end up going back to Teletron 1 or whatever to rescue Soundwave. They pull him out of there. And, I like seeing RC and Ultra Magnus kind of holding the line there. And I think just so many good things happening here. You got the Devastator. They kind of just merge half of them, and crazy things going on. And I think one point freaking Megatron starts getting those crazy eyes, and even Rumble's like looking at him like, what the heck's going on? And I don't know if he freaking disappears, but at the end of the day, it looks like the Autobots have prevailed. And of course, a nice Kirkman ending again. You have Alita 1 showing up, and she hasn't been the biggest fan of Optimus Prime, and him sort of leaving Cybertron for this planet Earth. And I think what was her line is like, oh, you can leave this mud planet to the Decepticons.
Yeah,
I got some things to talk to you about. And it's like, whoa.
Yeah,
that was quite the ending.
And it's like they're in their final stand there, and they're like, we can take them out once and for all here. And when she says that, she's like, yeah, leave it to them. She is battled on just like
a home patriot. It's like, I don't care about this place. We're taking you back. So I don't know how she showed up there to begin with.
Well, she's been both places. She's battled both places. So she's not being a fan of the humans and Earth for that matter. So I think she's kind of like, screw it. We don't need to be here. So it ended definitely in an interesting spot, and this was like one of those big brawl issues that was kind of building for the last few ever since Kirkman jumped on the book, and he kind of had to reintroduce all these new characters that have come out of the woodwork again now. And this is them both at their most built up, their armies essentially in this, finally just kind of throwing down against one another. So it was another good issue. I really like this. I think this is still the highlight of the Energon universe, this book. I think it's
and having Dan Moore on the art there, the color, whoever's doing the color, it's It's just a great looking book too. On top of it,
Absolutely. What'd you give this?
I might have to give this 4.25. I think I might have just talked it up.
Nice. I'm gonna go stick with a 4. But look at that. Look at all these like other publishers' books. We just kind of just ran through there, gave it a 4+ for all of them. Good stuff. Good stuff. Now we're back over to Marvel and DC for Absolute Wonder Woman Annual 2026 #1.
I got my copy here. Not bad stuff. Yeah, I wasn't going to pull this, but I guess after that Absolute Batman one went through the roof, I thought, well, I have a different artist on this, so I was interested about that. And the story, it wasn't like some, a barn burner story here, but I did enjoy the story. Like, I thought it was a different take on sort of what Medusa was up to, like with, I guess, I think they spent a bit too much time with Diana or Wonder Woman, either praying to Athena or, kind of figuring out that, she's been having feeling Medusa sort of pain, being in prison and figuring out what happened to her. But you never really stop to think that the curse itself isn't turning people to stone, is that you just can't look at anybody anymore, and then how you feel sort of, I guess, invisible when no one can look at you. So I thought that was an interesting take on this Medusa mythology. I've never heard that sort of take on it before. And, to have a myth out there for, however long it's been and not hearing a take on this, if it's taken from somewhere else, I've never heard about it, but I don't think it has been. So, and I thought it was a pretty decent issue.
No, well said, Chris. I agree with you. Yeah, absolutely. It is an interesting angle to take, and I thought the guest artist was really good as well. I thought there was some really nice look, like that page. There's some really nice looking pages in this that he did, and it's Mattias Delulis or something like that. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I think this artist may have showed up at some other point, maybe in this series, but maybe did that 2-parter, if I'm not mistaken, in Hell or something.
It does have an Aidan Sherman sort of twang to it, though.
Yeah,
somehow,
but more like realistic.
Yeah.
It's definitely more, I would say, in that vein than anything. But yeah, it's still sharp looking and good stuff. Yeah, I don't really have too much to add to what you said there. I think really well put what you said about it there, and it was interesting to see, like, for an annual issue too. I think it was a good story to tell. So I'm interested to see where we go from here.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have Medusa show up sooner or later. Kind of since Wonder Woman, read her and she kind of, oh yeah, my thanks. And there might be a time when Wonder Woman might need some help from Medusa, because she still can turn people to stone.
Only if she chooses to. Yeah,
only if she chooses to now.
That's true. It's her choice. And she brought her back to like a human looking form there at the end too.
Well, I guess he gave her the choice to be whatever you want. And like, she goes, what if I choose to be a monster again? And I think that line is still great. It goes, at least this time it's your choice. You're not being forced to be a monster. So
yeah,
a lot of good angles, like you said, on this one.
Good stuff. What'd you give this?
I give it a 4. No problem.
Agreed. Yeah, 4 to 5. All right, then we got Black Cat 7 with I got the 3 covers here, Chris. All right, first up we got Adam Hughes.
Yeah, Adam Hughes. Hold on. Adam Hughes.
All right, then I got Carrie Andrews.
Carrie Andrews.
Yeah. And what we got left here? Ivan Talavera.
Wow, yeah.
All great.
You got great covers when the Carrie Andrews covers is the worst out of the 3.
You know what? I would probably agree, actually, on this one. I mean, I love Carrie Andrews stuff, but yeah, I would agree here. It's going to be interesting to see them both when they're both out, though. But yeah,
that's going to be a nice connecting cover with them too. And I think at least for the next issue, I don't think there's going to be a whole ton of them. Maybe the 8 cover, because Adam Hughes is still killing these covers.
I think I'm just getting the Hughes and where the Carrie Andrews one, if that's the next issue. Yeah. So. Yeah.
But as for this story here, I'm glad they came out with great covers, but I wish there was a great story in here. I was excited to have Black Cat and Mary Jane come together, but they got to get a better reason for them coming together than, some old video out there that that Mary Jane doesn't want to fall into the wrong hands or she's being blackmailed. Unless in the second part of the story, it really revealed that there's more to this than just kind of vanity going on. And with her being an actress and all that sort of stuff, I think once now that she's seems to be pretty much stuck with this Venom, I think that actress side story, it only seems to pop out when it suits her character or suits the story. Otherwise, you never know that she was an actress or something like that. You know what I mean? But I'm still a fan of this, and I'll be buying more of them. So I can't say it's great, but I'm into this still 100%. I think the art was decent as well.
I don't agree. I guess I disagree with you on this one. I actually really liked this. I guess it is hokey that like the fact that the setup for this story is the whole angle with her being an actress worried about like some bad like audition or whatever the hell it is, like movie that she did tape get out there or whatever it was. But the fact that they use that as a way to tie in this crazy heist type scenario, which this really does feel like honestly the Jed McKay Black Cat series in that way, like get them having to break this out of the negative zone and really just getting these two characters talking to each other once again and interacting with one another, which I really did enjoy, like when they were together through even that Jed McKay mini series that he did with her when she was Jackpot, if you remember that short period of time. Yeah, this kind of just reminded me about a lot of those series and the Jed McKay Black Cat, and the reason why I like that stuff. Like it is wacky and out there, but that's kind of what I think. That's what was fun. It's fun about it, honestly. I quite like this a lot. This one, but it is kind of hokey and stupid at times too. I definitely feel that at times as well, but the whole Dark Knight page here, where it's kind of just doing the Dark Knight Returns thing. But yeah, I thought this was a lot of fun. I'm actually looking forward to see where this goes. Just the heist aspect of it, like the negative zone, all that, whatever, all that what that entails is fun about the book. But otherwise, like the reasoning behind what's going on is absolutely ridiculous for sure. So yeah. What'd you give this?
I'll still give it a 3.75. Those covers and a story in there, no problem.
You seem like you liked it less than I, but you still giving it the same rating. That's what I would give it. I mean, 3.75. I enjoyed it. Venom 254, last book here.
Venom 254. Carlos Gomez drawing freaking Madame Mask again. Wow, he's got her number, that's for sure.
Yep.
And it was this another fun issue. You got Venom and Madame Mask sort of battling it out. She's picked up some exosuit, and I guess it almost seems like the Venom is an exosuit for Mary Jane. And it seems these two have some history. Madame Mask knows that it's Mary Jane inside the Venom costume or inside the Venom symbiote, and they're sort of battling on. And I think this could have led somewhere. Then all of a sudden, all abruptly after the battle, that I guess there's some crack in the armor, and the Venom suit or the symbiote gets in there. I love seeing that symbiote where you got Venom's face inside the mask there. I thought that was looking pretty cool. And you think she's beat, but then of course she just takes off. And they both sort of give each other the warning, oh, don't cross my path, and I won't cross your path, or I'm gonna get you if you do. And that just seems to be it, because it's all kind of getting all wrapped up because this is gonna be involved in the death spiral. So I thought, I don't know, this seemed to be just wrapped up a little too conveniently, too quickly. I did like one time, I think there was some line in there where they reference that Madame Mask, couldn't you be wasting your time with Iron Man or something like that? Because, of course, she's a big part of that Iron Man #1. So maybe that's where she's going to put her, maybe just trying to lead us there. That's why the focus, or why she's shifting focus from Venom onto Iron Man. So, I thought it was great action. But just the way everything sort of just wrapped up all at the end because that there's a big event coming up that's going to take another 2-3 issues, out of Venom. So it's kind of odd that they spent all this time putting the story together with no end to it, really.
Yeah, you're on point tonight, Chris. Again, I don't really have much to add. My thoughts exactly. Great art. good action. And yeah, it wrapped up a little too quickly for this storyline, but we know what we're getting next with this whole Venom, the spiral thing, or the crossover, right? So hopefully they bring it with this next story and it's just not a waste of our time. So, but otherwise, yeah, I like this series. It's again a fun series that Marvel's putting out with good art and is again better than I expected it to be. I didn't think I'd be back into reading a Venom comic right now. But here I am with this Mary Jane as the character. I actually think this is way more successful than her whole stupid time as Jackpot was as well, by the way.
100%. When I first heard Venom or Mary Jane taking over the Venom costume, I thought that was going to be freaking baloney. But it looks like and I heard they're going to stick with it. I go, what the heck? But I think it seems to be working right now. And if they keep her in this for a while, I'm not going to be upset about that.
No. Yeah, and
that's probably going to lose it by the end of Death Spiral, from what I figure.
Probably, yeah. But this, if that's the case, it's been a fun ride. So yeah. Good stuff. It's definitely been better than some of their other stupid gimmicky shit they've done over the years. What'd you give this?
I'll give it 3.75.
Same. Yep. All right, so that's going to do it for this week of comics. What are you looking forward to checking out next week, Chris?
Well, let's see if it does come out.
February 18th.
February 18th. Ultimate Spider-Man 24 should be coming out in the end of the series.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. Amazing Spider-Man 22. Maybe we'll find out how Peter Parker got back to Earth. I'll try to read some X-Men 25. Captain America 7. I don't know about this Uncanny X-Men. Fantastic Four 8. Looking forward to that. Wolverine 16. Wow, what Marvel's cooking next week. Wolverine Weapons of Armageddon #1. Daredevil Punisher, Devil's Trigger, New Avengers. Holy smokes.
It's a big week, yeah.
Big week. I might take a flyer on this Generation X-23. Dungeons of Doom. Holy smokes. I'm not buying all these, but I'm buying a few of them. Seems to be, maybe even Doctor Strange. I know we haven't been high on that one, but maybe I'll see what's cooking if I can see it out there. Let's see what's going on with DC. Absolute Batman with those Poison Ivy covers.
First Poison Ivy. Yeah, that's the first Poison Ivy, that one. That's going to be a big one.
And I guess Batman Superman, is that going to be a new arc? Because I thought the last one wrapped up with...
yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, that was with Joker and what's his name? Lex Luthor. Wonder Woman 30. I think that's wrapping up the second part there.
Mm-hmm.
I know this Gargoyle of Gotham. I feel like that has been like another year since that's been out.
It has been.
And it's End of Life, the Kyle Starks one.
End of Life?
Yeah, it's a DC Vertigo one.
Oh yes, I think that is the Kyle Starks one. Yeah. Yes, yeah.
Maybe we'll try and give that a read.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
The Image. Oh, Exquisite Corpse is 10.
Yeah.
G.I. Joe 19. Let's see what else is going on there. That's about it. I don't know if Dark Horse has anything we're going into right now. Oh, Powers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be it.
Big week. Yeah. I forgot to show this off earlier. I got this facsimile of this Punisher #1. They did. I don't know if they're doing all 5. This is one of those famous ones where they said 4-issue series and then they turned it into 5 issues along the way, if you recall that. But I don't actually have the originals of these, so if they were going to reprint them all, I wouldn't be mad at it, but we'll see. Anyways, Minor Arcana 14, Powers 25. These are all ones I'm picking up. I'm actually picking up this issue of Powers 25, even though I've been reading it digitally, because I think there's like a Stan Sakai cover with Usagi Yojimbo on it, so I picked that up. Absolute Batman 17. Death Fight Forever comes out next week from Image Comics. That might be one that might be up your alley, Chris, if you see it out there. First issue of that. Exquisite Corpses #10. G.I. Joe 19. Amazing Spider-Man 22. Captain America 7. Daredevil Punisher Trigger Warnings 4. Ultimate Spider-Man 24. Weapons of Armageddon #1. This is a big good week here. It looks like we got going on here. And then ones I'm just reading digitally, I think End of Life. Dungeons of Doom, first issue of that was good. Fantastic Four 8. I don't think I picked up the cover of this one. I don't know. But there's another good cover coming up, though, with the Invincible Woman that I saw a couple of months from now that I'm picking up. I forgot what artist it was, but I think I just pre-ordered it. Deadly. I might check out this Deadly Hands of Kunlun. I don't know. Maybe not. That might just be a continuation of the other Iron. No, what was the Iron Fist that was reading? That was when he came back from the dead. Yeah, so maybe I won't. New Avengers 9, Wolverine 16, X-Men 25. I don't think I'm. Oh, I might read Uncanny X-Men maybe because of that. What happened with those Legion of Monsters last year?
At least that's what the vampire's there for.
Yeah, so I probably will read that. So, all right, so that's gonna do it for things we're looking forward to checking out next week. Make sure to tune in for that to hear what our thoughts on those. But for this week, Chris, what was your favorite book of the week? This is tough.
There's a ton. There's been a lot of good ones. Like I say, I do like the story from Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
But I don't know, with all the action, with the ending there, I got to give the Transformers.
Wow. Nice. Yeah, good pick. Good pick. This is a tough one for me. There's a lot of candidates, honestly, this week that were around, like, in terms of ratings, and even my thoughts on them were really good. Babs was really good this week. Yeah. DCKO was fun. I think I got to give it to Alien versus Captain America 4, though. I think I got to give it the nod just for wrapping up, and the whole miniseries was enjoyable. Yeah. So, like, it stuck the landing. Yeah, I got to give it to that. I mean, I could make the argument for other things here, but I think just for my overall feeling towards it as a miniseries, I will give it to Alien versus Captain America 4 this week. Yeah, so there you go. And it was a good last issue, too. So
check the shield.
What's that?
Check the shield.
That's right.
But it's Vision going up there, and the thing sucks Vision space.
Yeah.
Big deal. Those guys are all armed, too. You know, I think they can kill that face hugger before it freaking infects the world again.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what they have next planned for these, like if they're going to do more, but I feel like chances are the next one's going to suck. Like we've had back-to-back really good Alien Marvel miniseries. Like there's got to get to a point where you're like, okay, this is going to
run out of ideas, but who knows?
So far, so good though. I will give them that.
Don't keep them coming out too quickly. We'll see.
Yeah, like if we don't get one this year, I'd be fine with it, but we'll see what happens.
I did read that Fantastic Four and Planet of the Apes. You know, if we're talking about these 20th century comics, I loved it.
Okay.
If you love that original Planet of the Apes,
see,
Zira and Cornelius, Dr. Zaius, and the General, and with them ending up becoming the Fantastic Four, or the Fantastic Four Apes, and just all the lines there, it's like. They talk about ape law and all that sort of stuff, and it's hearsay. You can't be talking. That's great stuff.
Okay, I'm glad to hear it because I thought you would, because I know you didn't read it in time for the show last week. And when I mentioned it, you said, "Oh yeah, you know what? That sounds good. I actually probably would like this," and I'm glad you did. Then, yeah. So you're on board reading the rest for the show. It seems like, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've watched some of them, but I guess I don't have like the affinity. I don't have the love for them, other than the more modern ones, I guess, like that you maybe do.
The best.
Yeah, no, I have them. I mean, I have them all on Blu-ray. I've watched them, but I don't think I've watched all of them, but I've watched like at least 3 or 4 of the 6. I do enjoy them, but yeah. There's some bad ones towards the end, though. There's some
but once you're in. You know, it's like it's like a series there. You know, I think by the end there's like
beneath the Planet of the Apes at the end.
Yeah, there's like humans living there, like in the irradiated city.
Yeah.
But like even still in that, everyone in the Planet of the Apes, he still doesn't know where he's at. I wonder if they're going to have their moment where they're going to see the Statue of Liberty. Oh, you damn! You did it! You blew it up!
You damn dirty apes! Yeah, maybe we'll just have the Mr. Fantastic waving his arm.
He thinks he's on another planet right now, not realizing. I guess he should be more in tune with being experienced with the multiverse and all that. So maybe you won't get so upset.
I'm really surprised that some of these have been as good as they have been, honestly, though. We keep saying it, like, just because so many of these are so phoned in, and like clearly they're pairing up creators that care about these properties, though. You know what I mean? Like like these people that are writing these, I'm pretty certain are fans. They're not just like somebody who's like writing them for a check, like a quick buck. Like so, like yeah, I feel like Hickman felt like he had an understanding for aliens, like you know what I mean. Like it's clearly Duggan likes the Godzilla stuff. I don't know. It just seems like they have the right people paired up with these, right?
It's always nice seeing even just like the Marvel characters sort of as their legacy self, you know, they haven't been bogged down by any sort of storyline that's changed them or anything. It's kind of, it's almost like their golden age self, you know what I mean?
Right. And then for so long we were saying how it was great that DC did all these other continuity stories. We didn't really realize like that's what they're doing here with these Marvel ones too, right? Like these are out of continuity, right? So they're kind of able to do some fun stuff. It seems like with these.
Like, but that's a canary in the coal mine or something. When only your Elseworlds are doing good,
right?
Then that means your main line is suffering. You know, at least now DC, there's not really much going on in the Elseworlds, but
I know
the main line is cooking.
Like I said, we're hoping this summer turns things around. Zdarsky, I trust. He needs to turn things around, man, with these books that he's got going on.
He needs this as much as Marvel needs this, you know?
That's what I mean. So that's a mutual like thing going on here between them, right? So they really need to like step into this 2026 has to be a big year for them in terms of the comics because the Absolute Universe is whooping their fucking ass right now. It really is. Like I have never seen a book this big like in forever. Like these line of books like for the in terms of the fan base, it's crazy. So, anyways, all right, well that's gonna do it for this week of comics, guys. Make sure to check us back next week for another episode of Comic Shop Talk as always, and us talking about next week's books, February 18th, and we'll see you then. Thanks again to Chris. Later, everyone. Cheers.